Okay, so let us try the last pattern, okay, the third pattern of the locus graph. Okay, so for the third pattern that we are having is about the argument one, all right? So if you look at the left hand side, you're having the argument of z minus a is a complex number again, all right, which is equals to alpha. So alpha will be the angle, all right, and usually they will give you the angle measured in radian. Okay, so argument z minus a equals to alpha. So what does it mean? Say if you draw the line, if you draw the locus, it is actually a line starting at the point A, okay, which makes an angle alpha with the positive x-axis. So it is still a line, actually, and then start from the point A. And how you draw the line, it depends on the alpha, the angle that they give you in the question. Okay, so generally this is what we have for the third pattern. All right, so maybe I can start giving you one example here. Okay, let's say I'm having this. Okay, let's say I'm having argument z, okay, plus 2 minus 2i, and it is equals to negative pi over 4. Let's say this is what I want to get. All right. Okay, so if you look at this one, you know that it is the question that related to argument. Okay, you need to draw the graph first. Okay, so what you need to do again, first step is you try to adjust it become z minus a complex number. Okay, and it is equals to negative pi over 4. Okay, so what is this complex number? So z minus a complex number. So if you look at it in detail, you should change this one become negative 2, and this one should be positive 2. Okay, so this is the complex number that you should sketch. All right. Okay, so negative 2 and 2. So if you want to sketch it, then generally, again, if possible, you try to use the same ratio for your real axis and also the imaginary axis. All right, so I'm having negative 2. So this will be negative 2. And this one will be positive 2. Okay, and this is the point that I have. Okay, all right, so when you have the point that you have already, right, on the right-hand side of the point, you try to draw a line. So this is your point A, actually, the complex number, the point A, okay? And then you draw a horizontal line on the left, on the right, sorry, on the right. So this horizontal line is actually the positive x-axis, okay, from this point. All right, so this is the line that you use to measure the angle, okay? Then now, once you plot the point already and also sketch the line, horizontal line, then you look at the angle here. So the angle negative means that you measure it, okay, from this line in the clockwise direction. So if it is positive, then you measure it in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so for our case here, it will be in the clockwise direction. So from this line, you measure anti-clockwise direction for 45 degrees. So pi over 4 is 45 degrees. So that means your graph will look somewhere like this. All right, so this is 45 degrees. Okay, so maybe you can imagine like this. Okay, so since here, okay, is 45 degrees. So again, when you're having anything with 45 degree, right, that means when you're having the point, right, if you have to move the same unit for x and also the y axis, that means if you move 2 units to the right, it must be 2 units down, negative, right? So it is in this direction. Therefore, you should assume that, okay, from point A here, then the next point will pass through the 0, 0, and this is your locus z. So this is your z actually. And of course, you need to tell them that this angle is pi over 4. Okay, how you know it's pi over 4? How you know that it will pass through a 0, 0 also? Okay, so another things to help you to identify this is, look at this triangle. Can you see this triangle or not? So 2 unit here, 2 unit here. So that means this is pi over 4, which is logic. So your line will pass through the 0, 0. So when you sketch all this graph, right, you still need some very basic knowledge that you learned before, such as trigo lah, or some common sense lah, or maybe some coordinate geometry concept that you learned before, like how to get the gradient, what happened to the gradient equals to 1, what happened to the gradient negative 1, and so on. Okay, in general, so this is how we sketch the graph with argument. All right, so again, the first step is you plot the complex number. After that, you draw a horizontal line on the right hand side of the complex number so that you can use this line to measure the angle. Then the third one is you try to sketch the angle that you want. Alright, so when you want to label also, you try to label the angle itself, and then this is the Z. So please take note that you don't draw it exceed the point A. This is wrong. If you draw the line longer that exceed the point A, this is actually wrong. Because this line itself, the angle is this one, not negative pi over 4. Alright, so you have to take note on this lah. A lot of students they will draw a very long line, but they actually didn't realize that this part of the line is a wrong one. Okay. Alright, so this is what we have for part number 3 lah, the third type equation that we are going to sketch. And you need to know how to sketch it. Alright, so again, the same thing happened here. We will proceed to example 5. Okay, so for example 5, maybe I will try one example with you, and then you try the other two on your own. Then after that, you try to check the answer. Okay, so maybe I will try part H with you. Then you try G and also I. Alright. Okay, so let's have a look for part H. Okay, so I will just copy the question first. Okay, so for part H, we are having argument Z plus 1. Okay, which is equals to pi over 3. Alright, so the first step is you need to adjust it become Z minus a complex number, and it is equals to pi over 3. Okay, so you're having a plus 1 here. When you do the adjustment, it will become negative 1. So that negative minus 1 become positive 1. And then you have plus 0i. So your coordinate for the complex number is negative 1 and 0. Alright, after that, you can start plotting the graph. Okay, so negative 1 and 0. Okay, so negative 1 and 0, maybe you can assume that it is here, negative 1 and 0, and this is the point for the complex number they want to plot. So the line on the right hand side will be this one. Okay, then they want you to measure this angle. Pi over 3 is 60 degree. So 60 degree means that your line more or less will be something like this. Okay, so this one is 60 degree. Okay, alright, so you can label this as the Z. This is the real axis. This is the imaginary axis. So if can, maybe you can try to write out this Y intercept if you know how to find it out. Alright, if you don't know, then it depends on your luck whether the marking scheme want to give you marks on this or not. Alright, okay, so you can see that, look at this triangle. Okay, so I hope that you can look at this triangle. It is a right angle triangle, right? Since you know that this is 60 degree, this is 30 degree. So for 30 degree, it is 1 over 2. Right, this is pi over 6. 30 degree means 1 over 2. So which means this length should be square root 3. 1, 2 and square 1, 2 and square root 3, right? So which means this value is actually a square root 3 from the right angle triangle. Alright, so again, in exam, they won't hint you on all this, but you need to observe yourself and try and see whether you can figure out all this or not. Alright, so you can see that my locus is this one, the green color one. Okay, and I will tell them that this is a square root 3 if can. Okay, so for the argument type of question, it is quite easy. To me, I think it is quite easy. Alright, so you can try part G and I. Then you can check the answer in the PDF file that I uploaded to the Blackboard later. Okay.